Hello everyone and welcome to AEW Discussion. I'm hosting AEW Enthusiast Dougie Doug. In today's episode, I'm going to discuss Dynamite, January 3rd, 2024 edition, the first episode of Dynamite to kick off the new year. World's End was certainly an eventful night for AEW. It crowned a new world champion and also revealed who was underneath the Devil's Mask. World's End was not a great pay-per-view, but it also wasn't terrible. It was somewhere in the middle. And we'll go ahead and get into an episode of Dynamite that was an overall pretty solid episode. And we're going to get into the action, starting with Adam Cole kicking off Dynamite and the Undisputed Kingdom making their debut. So Adam Cole led his new faction to the D-Squared Circle just days after betraying MJF to explain his actions, and he did, using rather generic reasons to explain his actions, like needing to loosen MJF's grip on AEW, and then he laid out what is coming up next for the Undisputed Kingdom. Matt Taven and Mike Bennett defending the Ring of Honor tag titles, Wardlow going after the AEW World Championship, and Roderick Strong going after the International title. Interesting start to the show here. Cole was great as the lead, a role he has excelled in. Think back to his days in NXT with the Undisputed Era. Now, the reason for Cole and MJF was rather one-dimensional and perhaps a bit all over the place, but the segment did a great job of looking ahead and telling the fans what they can expect for the next few weeks. The tease of Acclaimed and Bullet Club Gold joining forces to fight a common enemy was another nice bit of business, as they are so opposite that it is intriguing to see if they can set their swords aside and team up. Granted, it certainly would put the Kingdom at a numbers advantage with 6 on 4, because Cole is still not medically cleared to compete. But yeah, we're interested to see how the Undisputed Kingdom, they're going to be a key part of TV, and they also made some enemies, with Bullet Club Gold, the Acclaimed. Hangman Page is going to be another one. MJF, will see what happens there. Does he, I guess his contract is supposed to be up in this month, so does he resign? Does he not resign? I don't know. I guess we'll see how it plays out, how the Kingdom sorts out the enemies they have made. And AEW International Championship match, Orange Cassidy versus Dante Martin. And Cassidy would successfully retain his title in a win where they win over Martin in the follow-up to what was a solid trios match last Friday on Rampage. The post-match gave way to the return of Private Party as a tag team who vowed to take over the tag team division despite being absent for quite some time. And I think even when they were a tag team when they were last tag teaming, or I guess on their last run as a tag team, I don't think they won a lot. So the match between Cassidy and Martin was good, and the return of Private Party is a nice addition to the tag team division. But it'll be interesting to see how committed Tony Khan remains to Private Party based on previous usage. But it is interesting nonetheless that they called on every tag team but the champions. Darby Allin versus Koski Takeshita, and Takeshita would systematically defeat Darby Allin in one of his stronger showings to date. It was a bit more competitive than the traditional squash match, but this was still a showcase for Takeshita, who had an answer for everything Allin threw at him and obliterated him with some impressively timed strikes. This was the best the Aces looked since his victory over Omega, and felt very much like a return to form for the young star. Don Callis later on would issue a challenge to Allin and Sting for a tag match with Takeshita and Powerhouse Hobbs on next week's show. That match is official, and there is the possibility that Takeshita and Hobbs could hand the Icon his first loss in AEW. And if that is the case, or I guess even if it's possible that it could happen, the fact that Takeshita not only gets this match and this win, but then he gets that tag team match next week, looks like 2024 is starting off in a good way for a young potential face of the company, and hopefully he can keep this momentum going. Main events were Strickland versus Daniel Garcia, and the match was as good as the talent involved, with Strickland scoring a win in an ultra-competitive match and keeping his championship aspirations alive. After the match, Strickland and Prince Nana would clear Garcia and Page out of Garcia out of the ring along with Daddy Magic, and then Hangman Page. Well, he wanted to fight somebody, so he picked Strickland, hit the ring. Brawl breaks out, referee, security show up, pull them apart as the show comes to an end. So a hot finish to a show, and one that creates intrigue around the AEW title scene. You have multiple moving pieces, intertwined stories, and fresh faces, making the show as interesting at the top of the card as it has been in a long while. So yeah, Samoa Joe said anyone could get it. Wardlow said he has his sights on the title. Per Adam Cole, as to where Strickland has his eyes on the title. So yeah, there is some intrigue now with the new world champion. Joe hasn't responded to any of it, so we're curious to see what his response is and who his first opponent will be, because there are some options there. So in conclusion, this episode of Dynamite looked like AEW getting back to what the show used to be, which was wrestling centric with a surprise or two and a great main event to top things off. So the Undisputed Kingdom was introduced by Adam Cole. Deonna Purrazzo is officially all elite, and Koski Takeshita earned a big win over Darby Allin. Christian Cage and Patriarchy continue to shine as a group. Queen Amiata, I probably butchered that, my bad, showed out as a big opportunity. And Strickland and Page are reigniting their feud that probably should have ended at their full gear. This was a good show, and one that may be looked back on as the moment AEW rediscovered itself. It's a new year. AEW certainly catches a lot of slack, but anytime I'll say anything negative about AEW, it's always, I always try to mean it from a constructive standpoint, but we'll see what the new year brings for AEW. We got Revolution coming up in March. We got a new world champion. 2024. Until proven otherwise, I'm going to say it's going to be a great year for AEW. And with that will conclude this episode of AEW Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below.